The Daily Bugle's J. Jonah Jameson revealed Peter Parker's identity as Spider-Man to the world while also framing him as the person responsible for Mysterio's death and an alleged mass casualty event in London. Suddenly, a swarm of civilians surrounds him and Michelle Jones, causing them to flee the media and the police. They take refuge in Parker's apartment and reunite with May Parker and Happy Hogan, who disclose that their relationship has ended. Soon after, the U.S. Department of Damage Control takes them, along with Ned Leeds, into detention for questioning. Parker hires Matt Murdock to defend him, and he is successful in having his criminal charges dropped. However, when Parker, Jones, and Leeds return to Midtown High for their senior year, they are rejected from every institution they apply to, including MIT. Due to the intense controversy, Parker goes to the New York Sanctum and begs Doctor Strange to keep Spider-Man's identity a secret once more in order to get his friends into MIT. Strange tries to cast the spell with the runes of cough cold despite Wong's warning. Parker, on the other hand, constantly modifies the spell by requesting that different people close to him be exempt from its effects. As a consequence, the spell becomes unstable, necessitating Strange's intervention. Strange evicts Parker from the sanctum for failing to confer with college administrators before meeting with him. Parker is led to an administrator going to the Alexander Hamilton Bridge in an effort to appeal his, Jones, and Leeds applications after contacting Flash Thompson, who was admitted to MIT. Dr. Octopus, who appears to know Parker intimately, ambushes him. Dr. Octopus grabs him and rips a portion of Iron Spider armor from him, transferring its nanites to his tentacles. He attempts another strike, but Spider-Man shows his face, which Dr. Octopus is unfamiliar with. Spider-Man then uses the suit's nanites to control Dr. Octopus' tentacles and saves the MIT administrator from falling off the bridge, who chooses to assist him and his friends get admitted out of gratitude. Green Goblin appears and tries to assault Spider-Man, but he and Dr. Octopus are taken into the sanctum, where Strange imprisons Dr. Octopus and Lizard. He tells Parker that Dr. Octopus, Lizard, and Green Goblin are not from this universe, but rather from parallel realities within the multiverse, and that they were drawn into this reality by the failed spell because they know Spider-Man's identity. Strange confines this spell in the Machina Davis, a mystical containment device. Parker is hired to help locate and capture these visitors, and his suit receives a magical upgrade. Spider-Man locates Electro outside the city with the help of Jones and Leeds. He assaults Spider-Man, gaining the upper hand, but Sandman intervenes to protect the hero. The two labor together to cut the power lines, restoring Electro's body completely. Sandman thinks Spider-Man killed him when he is sent to the sanctum, but he is also captured before he can retaliate. In other news, Norman Osborn tries to abandon his Green Goblin persona by breaking his mask and fleeing to an FEASD facility for refuge. Thanks to May, Spider-Man finds Osborn and takes him to the sanctum. Osborn, Dr. Octopus, and Electro quickly realize that they perished and were resurrected by the spell, implying that they would perish if they returned home. Strange informs Spider-Man that these three are destined to die at the hands of their own Spider-Man. He plans to reverse the spell and return them to their fates for the sake of the greater multiverse. Spider-Man steals the Machina before Strange can use it and escapes. Convinced that they can be cured of their antagonistic natures and saved from death, Strange pursues Spider-Man, seizes his magic, and dispatches him into the mirror dimension to retrieve the Machina, while also attempting to persuade him of the multiversal stakes in exchange for the visitor's return. Spider-Man, unfazed, entangles Strange in a web matrix and takes his sling ring before returning to Earth. He gives the ring to Leeds and the Machina to Jones before releasing the inmates. Spider-Man transports the multiversal refugees to Hogan's condominium in order to give cures. He begins with Dr. Octopus, engineering a new inhibitor chip for his tentacles and restoring his higher brain function using a Stark Industries fabricator. Furthermore, Electro has an energy siphon implanted in him that is intended to extract his powers. But before he can affect Osborn, The Green Goblin persona takes control of his body and convinces Electro to remove the siphon before it completely drains his abilities. He steals an arc reactor and uses its energy to blow Octavius out of the structure. Green Goblin attacks Spider-Man, knocking him to the ground level, while Lizard, Sandman, and Electro flee. May sprints outside and injects an antidote into Green Goblin, which fails to function. Green Goblin tosses two pumpkin bombs after striking May with his Goblin glider, which Spider-Man fails to stop and explodes in their vicinity. Spider-Man locates May among the debris. May, unaware that she has been seriously wounded, tells her nephew not to give up assisting others despite the odds, lecturing him that great power comes with great responsibility. Spider-Man attempts to save May as DODC officers surround them, but she dies in front of him. Hogan appears on the scene and is quickly apprehended by police. In their search for Spider-Man, they come across what appears to be their Spider-Man on the other side of the gateway and summon him. They quickly discover, however, that this Spider-Man is not theirs, but rather one from another universe who has previously fought the Lizard and Electro. Leeds attempts again, but this time summons an alternate Peter Parker, who has previously battled the Green Goblin, Octavius, and Sandman. The group eventually locates their Spider-Man alone on the roof of Midtown and attempts to console him about May, but he is too distraught over his errors to care. Before he can use the machina to return the multiversal travelers, the other two Parkers begin sharing their own personal experiences of loss and bitterness in order to help him deal and realize he is not alone. A re-energized Spider-Man then resolves to carry out his plan and heal the villains. The Parkers, Jones, and Leeds then retreat to a classroom laboratory in Midtown to create the cure for the villains. Osborn's Parker engineers an anti-serum for Green Goblin, as Electro's Parker recreates the Lizard antidote to restore him back to normal, while Spider-Man prepares the cures for Sandman and Electro. Afterwards, Leeds brings them to the Statue of Liberty via portal as he and Jones remain in the lab. Spider-Man dials into the Daily Bugle to broadcast a message, using the machina as a lure while alerting Lizard, Electro, and Sandman to his location. They appear and assault the three Spider-Men on the platform. The web-slingers lack effective coordination, allowing their foes to easily overwhelm them. Due to his experience as a member of the Avengers, Spider-Man assumes command of the trio. The three acquire code names: Spider-Man as Peter 1, Osborn's Spider-Man as Peter 2, and Electro's Spider-Man as Peter 3. They resolve to engage and cure one enemy at a time, beginning with Sandman. Following Lizard's restraint, Peter 3 retrieves Sandman's cure and passes the device to Peter 1, who then delivers the cure to Peter 2, enabling Marco to be neutralized. The three Spider-Men try to steal Electro's arc reactor, but he proves to be too powerful for them due to his increased power from the energy source. Lizard escapes the lab and attacks Jones and Leeds, causing Peter 1 to flee and fight him. Peter 1 uses Leeds and his sling ring to force Lizard to open a bottle holding the antidote that restores him to his human form. Kurt Connors. Leeds inadvertently summons Strange to the battlefield, and when he sees Connors, he understands Peter 1's pacifist strategy is working. Strange reclaims his machina and sling ring from Leeds. Electro overwhelms Peter 2 and Peter 3 until Octavius comes to extract the arc reactor himself and render him powerless with the finished neutralizer. Peter 3 reconciles with Dylan, while Peter 2 cordially welcomes Octavius back into his life. Peter 1 returns to Strange as he prepares to send everyone home using the machina. Green Goblin ambushes the party and steals the machina, but Octavius and Strange reclaim it. Green Goblin had hidden a pumpkin bomb inside the object, unbeknownst to them. It explodes and unleashes the unstable contained spell. Jones is also thrown from the Statue of Liberty. Green Goblin knocks Peter 1 away as he dives to save her. Peter 3 rescues her and starts crying because it reminds him of the night Gwen Stacy died. Peter 1 faces Green Goblin alone as dawn breaks. He viciously beats him down and tries to finish him off with his glider, but he is stopped by Peter 2. This, however, exposes him to being struck in the back by Green Goblin. Peter 3 gives Peter 1 the anti-serum, which allows him to rid Osborn of the Green Goblin. He sees Peter 2's non-fatal injury and understands the extent of the damage he has caused. Strange battles to keep the universe's rifts together, while intruders prepare to invade this reality. To rectify it, Peter 1 has him cast a new spell that makes everyone forget who he is. Following that, Peter 1 embraces his alternate selves, who encourage him to keep on being Spider-Man. Strange uses the new spell to close the rifts and successfully transports Peter 2, Peter 3, Dylan, Octavius, Osborn, Marco, and Connors back to their homeworlds. Spider-Man embraces Leeds and Jones one last time, promising to return and assist them remember him someday. He then walks away as Strange casts the spell, rendering the entire universe unaware of Parker's existence. It's now the holidays a few weeks later. Parker tries to reconnect with his MIT friends, but after remembering Jones' wounds, he chooses not to. He pays his respects at May's grave and is accompanied by Hogan, who is now a stranger to him. Parker, determined to continue with his new life, moves into a new apartment on his own and starts studying for his GED when his phone is alerted to criminal behavior. He sews together a simpler suit and resumes his heroics as Spider-Man, honoring May's mantra of community duty and responsibility.